Mr. Nwankwo, is this also linked to appointments? Because sometimes you look at it that some of these people, over time, they have seen the way some of the judges have been appointed, and some of these people have also, in the past, given out so many other things to these people to the extent that you can now say you are being hindered, you're not free. Because what you just highlighted is risky for us as a people and risky for our democracy. This is an arm of government that will respect. People even deify them to the extent that now we're getting to see that it has degenerated into what we're seeing in Ekiti, whether someone has beaten up a judge or not. These are things that shouldn't happen in the first place. Can we link it again to our kinds of appointments we've seen over time?
Well, you see why it will be difficult for me to react on that platform is the fact that even if these appointments were wrongly done, there is no legal justification, there is no ethical justification, there is no moral or constitutional justification to explain how what played out. I'm just worried about the position of the chief judge of that state. It's somebody I know. He's a man of integrity. He's somebody that gives us hope whenever we have access to him. But you see, what played out raises a lot of issues. I think it's more of a security issue than a judicial issue. It is because I understand that there was an indication suggestive of this crisis some days before this actual incident happened. And then I don't know precisely the role of the police. I don't know precisely the role of the security agencies in dealing with that. And it is also very painful that up to now we are not hearing about the arrests. So the implication is that nobody has been arrested. The implication, and this, like I have said, is the greatest incentive to crime. The fact that you do some of these dirty and stupid things and nobody comes back to ask you any question.
Has this ever happened before? Do we have a precedent in history where a judge was openly attacked within a court premises and, the court's as rowdy as this?
Well, of course, we've in the past we've had altercations, we've had some very nasty exchanges, but those are extreme cases. Those are cases involving people that knew that their chances of coming out was just zero.
And this was with the judge? I mean, a judge was beaten up in the court?
No, I don't know of any judge being attacked, molested inside the court. And that is why I'm bothered about the security implications of that. Because what the picture they have painted will take this nation a whole lot in terms of public relations management to deal with. Some of these people are just ordinary street urchins. And I find it extremely difficult to believe that the government, the security agencies are so incapacitated to the point that they will allow such a thing, taking into consideration the fact that there was an inkling that such a thing could play out. There was the events that took place some days before that suggest that such a thing could play out. I expected the security agencies to be on the ground. And even while that was going on, I expected a very, very serious intervention to be done by the security agencies in terms of arrests. Now we should be hearing about people being arraigned for being part of that Makeba dance, but nothing of such is taking place. So, and like I have said, when things like this happen and you see some cosmetic reactions, cosmetic intervention, and of course the police will come up with reasons why they were incapacitated. And this is absolutely not very, very unacceptable.
Well, the question will also be, I mean, when members of society can actually get up, even if they were prodded to go and slap a judge, and they decide to go ahead and do that, does it show what level we're getting to in terms of our respect for the judiciary?
I should think that this is an isolated case. And I believe that these people were radically motivated to cross the bar and get to the point where they were able to assess the judge and molest the judge. Things like this are things you read taking place in some other republics, banana republics, not in a place like Nigeria. I believe that the police, the security agencies in the Ekiti State have failed totally. And because I do not expect political talks to be reasonable. I don't expect miscreants to be responsible. I don't expect the kind of sycophants we have in the political system to show some level of integrity. What I expect is the society to have the machinery to deal with some of these things whenever it rears its ugly head. But that is not being done. And like I have said, if this thing is not checked, if it is not nipped at this stage, there is every tendency that there will be a kind of multiplier effect. We will see this is being replicated in some other jurisdictions.
Especially since this is an election petition tribunal case.
Yes, this is an elected, and of course, you know, there is a high court dimension to this tribunal, because I understand the incident didn't take place where it wasn't the tribunal that was sitting. And of course, you know, within the parameters of the Electoral Act, that some of these things could be taken by the High Court on the premise that they do not fall within the jurisdictional ambience of the election tribunals. I think the court was to take application challenging the eligibility of one of the candidates to contest. And if they don't like the face of the judge, there are a very wide vista of options before them, one of which is the fact that they can apply and ask the judge to disqualify himself, and the matter will be reassigned to another judge. And of course, there is a provision for them to appeal, even if the ruling is against them. So, but to go beyond that and demonstrate this level of madness is totally unacceptable. We are talking about a 21st century in Nigeria. Other jurisdictions, people are busy visiting the moon, setting up camps in the outer space, and we are still dealing with first and second century issues, where we are talking about the conduct of political aspirants and their talks. I think it's a very big and very shameful
doesn't mean that
demeaning act.
Those who are suggesting that the judiciary should not descend into the arena, they have no point.
Of course, the judiciary should not descend into the arena of conflict. That is a very strong principle of law. But the fact remains that even when there is evidence, the slightest likelihood of bias, the litigants know, the lawyers who are representing them know the options available to them. One of which is to formally ask the judge, even through a motion, to disqualify himself.
Okay. All right.
And the judge is bound to disqualify himself. If that fails, of course you can step up. And even if the judgment is against you, of course you have the latitude to appeal. Okay. So a whole lot of issues are involved.
All right, but we'll have to let it go here. Thank you for coming on, Mr. Richard Nwankwo of the Crusade for Justice. We'll be back after this break.
Thank you.